Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back through history at events which took place on this day. The rain is gently pittering and pattering away on the window, and the fire is crackling away nicely in the hearth. So put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back through time. Today is Tuesday the 20th of February 2024, and we have 50 events to cover, going all the way back to the year 1339. Starting with the most recent event, which happened 8 years ago. 6 people are killed and 2 injured in multiple shooting incidents in Kalamazoo County, Michigan. 9 years ago in 2015, 2 trains collide in the Swiss town of Ravs, resulting in as many as 49 people injured and Swiss Federal Railways cancelling some services. 10 years ago in 2014, dozens of Euro-Maidan anti-government protesters died in Ukraine's capital Kiev, many reportedly killed by snipers. 14 years ago in 2010, in Madeira Island, Portugal, heavy rain causes floods and mudslides, resulting in at least 43 deaths, the worst disaster in the history of the archipelago. 15 years ago in 2009, 2 Tamil Tiger aircraft packed with C4 explosives en route to the National Air Force headquarters are shot down by the Sri Lankan military before reaching their target in a kamikaze-style attack. 19 years ago in 2009, Spain becomes the first country to vote in a referendum on ratification of the proposed constitution of the European Union, passing it by a substantial margin but on a low turnout. 21 years ago in 2003, during a Great White concert in West Warwick, Rhode Island, a pyrotechnics display sets the station nightclub ablaze, killing 100 and injuring over 200 others. 26 years ago in 1998, American figure skater Tara Lipinski, at the age of 15, becomes the youngest Olympic figure skating gold medalist at the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan. 33 years ago in 1991, in the Albanian capital Tirana, a gigantic statue of Albania's longtime leader, Enver Hoxha, is brought down by mobs of angry protesters. 36 years ago in 1988, the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast votes to secede from Azerbaijan and join Armenia, triggering the First Nagorno-Karabakh War. 38 years ago in 1986, the Soviet Union launches its Mir spacecraft. Remaining in orbit for 15 years, it is occupied for 10 of those years. 45 years ago in 1979, an earthquake cracks open the Senilla volcanic crater on the Dieng Plateau, releasing poisonous H2S gas and killing 149 villagers in the Indonesian province of Central Java. "53 years ago in 1971, the United States emergency broadcast system is accidentally activated in an erroneous national alert. 56 years ago in 1968, the China Academy of Space Technology, China's main arm for the research, development and creation of space satellites, is established in Beijing. 59 years ago in 1965, Ranger 8 crashes into the moon after a successful mission of photographing possible landing sites for the Apollo program astronauts. 62 years ago in 1962, in the Mercury program. While aboard Friendship 7, John Glenn becomes the first American to orbit the Earth, making 3 orbits in 4 hours, 55 minutes. 65 years ago in 1959, the Avro Arrow program to design and manufacture supersonic jet fighters in Canada is cancelled by the Diefenbaker government amid much political debate. 68 years ago in 1956, the United States Merchant Marine Academy becomes a permanent service academy. 72 years ago in 1952, Emmett Ashford becomes the first African American umpire in organised baseball by being authorised to be a substitute umpire in the Southwestern International League. "80 years ago in 1944, in World War II, the Big Week began with American bomber raids on German aircraft manufacturing centres. In the same year, also in World War II, the United States takes Eniwetok Atoll. "81 years ago in 1943, again in World War II, American movie studio executives agreed to allow the Office of War Information to censor movies. In the same year, the Saturday Evening Post publishes the first of Norman Rockwell's 4 Freedoms in support of United States President Franklin Roosevelt's 1941 State of the Union address theme of 4 Freedoms. "82 years ago in 1942, in World War II, Lieutenant Edward O'Hara becomes America's first World War II flying ace. "85 years ago in 1939, Madison Square Garden Nazi rally. The largest ever pro-Nazi rally in United States history is convened in Madison Square Garden, New York City, with 20,000 members and sympathizers of the German-American Bund present. "89 years ago in 1935, Caroline Michelson becomes the first woman to set foot in Antarctica. 91 years ago in 1933, the US Congress approves the Blaine Act to repeal federal prohibition in the United States, sending the 21st Amendment to the United States Constitution to state ratifying conventions for approval. 91 years ago in 1933, Adolf Hitler secretly meets with German industrialists to arrange for financing of the Nazi Party's upcoming election campaign. 93 years ago in 1931, the US Congress approves the construction of the San Francisco to Oakland Bay Bridge by the state of California. In the same year, an anarchist uprising in Encarnacion, Paraguay, briefly transforms the city into a revolutionary commune. 104 years ago in 1920, an earthquake kills between 114 and 130 in Georgia and heavily damages the town of Gori. 111 years ago in 1913, King O'Malley drives in the first survey peg to mark commencement of work on the construction of Canberra. 115 years ago in 1909, publication of the Futurist Manifesto in the French journal Le Figaro. 119 years ago in 1905, the US Supreme Court upholds the constitutionality of Massachusetts' mandatory smallpox vaccination program in Jacobson versus Massachusetts. "123 years ago in 1901, the legislature of Hawaii Territory convenes for the first time. "147 years ago in 1877, Tchaikovsky's ballet Swan Lake received its premiere at the Bolshoi Theatre in Moscow. 152 years ago in 1872, the Metropolitan Museum of Art opens in New York City. 159 years ago in 1865, end of the Uruguayan War with a peace agreement between President Thomas Villalba and rebel leader Venancio Flores, setting the scene for the destructive war of the Triple Alliance. 160 years ago in 1864, in the American Civil War, Battle of Olustee, the largest battle fought in Florida during the war. 178 years ago in 1846, Polish insurgents lead an uprising in Krakow to incite a fight for national independence. 189 years ago in 1835, the 1835 Concepcion earthquake destroys Concepcion, Chile. 208 years ago in 1816, Rossini's opera The Barber of Seville premieres at the Teatro Argentina in Rome. 211 years ago in 1813, Manuel Belgrano defeats the royalist army of Pio de Tristan during the Battle of Salta. 226 years ago in 1798, Louis Alexandre Berthier removes Pope Pius VI from power. 232 years ago in 1792, the Postal Service Act, establishing United States Post Office Department, is signed by United States President George Washington. 339 years ago in 1685, René Robert Cavalier establishes Fort St. Louis at Matagorda Bay, thus forming the basis for France's claim to Texas. "477 years ago in 1547, Edward VI of England is crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey. 503 years ago in 1521, Juan Ponce de Leon sets out from Spain for Florida with about 200 prospective colonists. 552 years ago in 1472, Orkney and Shetland are pawned by Norway to Scotland in lieu of a dowry for Margaret of Denmark. 685 years ago in 1339, the Milanese army and the St. George's or San Giorgio mercenaries of Lodericio Visconti clash in the Battle of Parabiagio. Visconti is defeated. So that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found our little trip back through history both relaxing and informative. If you did indeed like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and also consider leaving a comment below. All feedback is very much welcome. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help the channel grow and will ensure that you are notified of future videos. Be sure to turn on notifications so that you are notified of future videos as soon as they are posted. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.